Good evening, everybody. I'm Ted Owens, and I had a funny thing happen to me today. I was talking with your regular host, Maya Schneider, and as I was talking, she developed a severe migraine headache and asked me to cover this evening. So I'll be your host this evening on Truckee Talks, and I have with me Erica Priman. Erica, welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having
us. And I think
us.
we're going to have a very good conversation about what you're into.
Yes.
Erica is with the Peace One Day organization. Is that a proper way to discuss that? And with that, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, Erica? How long have you lived in Truckee now?
I have lived in Truckee for only since end of August, actually. But I lived in Tahoe City for about 15 years.
Okay,
so I've been in this area a long time, yeah.
Now, just give me a brief global description of what Peace One Day is about.
Peace One Day is actually an organization that started in England. And it started by one man, Jeremy Gilley. And what Jeremy, actually what he was wondering was, why don't we have a an international day of peace? And he did some research and actually found out that we do have an International Day of Peace, and it's the United Nations International Day of Peace and Nonviolence.
And that's September 21st, correct?
Actually, well, it wasn't, and it was on the third Tuesday in September. So it was not a fixed day, so nobody knew how to celebrate it and when to celebrate it.
Okay,
so,
just to slow down now, Jeremy, when did he begin this process?
It's probably about 3 years.
So
ago.
99,
yeah,
so
99, exactly. So, but his idea was that he wanted to establish a set date, a fixed date of a global ceasefire.
Now he chose the date September 21st. That's the date we're going to be talking about, correct? Now, how did what process did he go through to establish that date? I think before the show began, we were talking about the UN. Is that the sanctioning body? September 21st would be the day?
Well, I think, well, what happened in the beginning was he researched a whole lot about the Peace Day and decided to launch Peace One Day and started the organization Peace One Day. And then got sponsored by British Airways. Jeremy is actually a filmmaker. So he got sponsored by Kodak and all the film companies that would help him to actually document and he traveled around the world for 2 years.
And did he base his organization out of England?
Yeah.
As he traveled around for 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay, now at this point, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got involved? How did you find out about what Jeremy is working on?
Yeah, it's actually interesting because about 2 years ago I went to an event in Kings Beach. And you talk about that kind of divine guidance, because I was walking into this place and I walked straight up to this booth where this lady was sitting showing a video. And I said, "What is this?" And she said, "This is an organization called Peace One Day." And ended up that it was actually his mother, Wendy Gilley. And Wendy had lived in Tahoe for 10 years. So she was there just promoting his idea. And back then, 2 years ago, it hadn't been established as an official day yet.
Okay, and was this at an event at the
yeah, it was at the community
there?
center or something. Yeah, exactly. So we got connected there, and we tried to do something 2 years ago, and didn't happen. And Wendy actually ended up moving back to England to help Jeremy there. And then we didn't speak for about a year and a half or so, and then this year I just one day had that feeling. I said, okay, it's time.
Okay, now so, I think it's also important to note that he began his quest prior to September 11th, obviously. You said 99, but it's kind of interesting that he began putting this organization together a couple of years before September 11th. How has that event, that terrible day in American history, affected Peace One Day, or has it enhanced it?
I definitely believe it enhanced the whole thing. I don't think the focus of Peace One Day or what they intend to do or doing has changed. It's just, I feel like the desire in people's hearts for peace have grown much larger than it was 2 years ago when we tried to do it then. It was not the same response.
I think certainly in this country.
Yeah, and everywhere. I notice it everywhere. I mean, everywhere we talk. In England, it's huge. I mean, they're selling about 4,000 tickets to their event that they're having in London on the 21st of September. And I think it's important to know that we're not celebrating this alone. I mean, I have a whole list here of commitments from countries all over the world. So when we...
Well, let's talk about that for just a minute. You said something interesting. There's a planned event in England. And these are events, but they're fundraising events as well, correct? I mean,
yeah, some of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if all of them are, but it's like schools have celebrations, their own little celebrations, and those celebrations are just your local celebrations.
What are they doing in England? Is that going to be the biggest one?
They're having, I don't know. They probably will be the biggest one this year.
Oh, so Truckee really
except
isn't.
Truckee.
Okay, that's
they're doing pretty much the same thing as we are here. They're doing music, concert. They're having a Kofi Annan, the United Nations General Secretary, send a message to them. They have the Dalai Lama sending his personal message, and it's going to be read there. And they have speakers and
do they have speakers from all over the world, for example?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's in the local.
More in the local realm. Well, that's interesting.
Exactly.
Now, tell me a little bit about what's planned for Truckee. Is it going to be held? Is this event going to be held strictly in Truckee, or is there another one in Tahoe City, or is this the regional event?
Combining them.
Combining them?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're combining Tahoe and Truckee since we all want to just unify it, you know, and we are planning a event at the Truckee Regional Park.
Okay.
And the amphitheater between 1 and 6 on 21st of September, which is Saturday. And we start at 1 o'clock. We're going to have local musicians. We're having probably about, by now, between 10 and 15 communal booths, informational booths that are setting up.
Question.
Yeah.
What is a communal informational booth?
Yeah, like from Tahoe Forest Hospital, Women's Services, and all those groups
I thought it was
around
something
Tahoe.
different. I was uncomfortable there for a moment. Okay, so it's various groups within the community that...
and then we have children's activities. We have a wishing tree we're going to have where we, actually a real tree that we're getting donated. And we write our wishes for peace on little pieces of paper.
No railroad regulators, right?
No.
So this might be the first event in Truckee with no railroad regulators.
It might be so.
Your attendance might. Never mind. Just gonna jab those guys a little bit.
I want to go back a little bit if I can.
Certainly.
To Jeremy and what he did 2 years ago. That he traveled around the world and he talked to every head of government, the Dalai Lama, everyone to see what the support was for a fixed date of a global ceasefire. And the support was just tremendous. I mean, every single person that he talked to, every ex-president or whoever he talked to, they said they would fully support.
Now, the obvious question as a follow-up would be, we're engaged in a war on terrorism right now, and has he had any response from the administration, the White House, as to any plans with this country on that particular day?
No, actually, that's why we wanted to bring it up here, because it's interesting because the United Nations, all member states of the United Nations last year on September 7 voted this in as an actual date in the global calendar.
Only days before.
4 days before it happened, and nobody knows about it. So we said here...
A little overshadowed. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm glad we're getting this on the air. Now tell me a little bit more what your role is. Are you the... do you have a title, or are you the person that's regional coordinator? Tell me that.
Yeah, I've been coordinating, but we have a group. We have been meeting every Tuesday night at the Squaw Valley Chapel because we figure that's in the middle of Truckee and Tahoe City. And Stephen Hamilton and his wife Karen opened the doors to the chapel and said, "You guys can meet here," and they've been a part of it too. So
now, if somebody wanted to get involved, should they call you?
Yeah. I think the number's going to be...
I think the number's going to appear under your name. I don't know if it'll appear at this point, but it will in a little while. And we can come back to that, but I understand that you brought a video with you. Is this a video put together by the organization, kind of chronicling Jeremy's journeys? And
yeah, it's a 8-minute informational video.
Well, I think we should probably take a look at the video right now, and let's learn a little bit more about what Peace One Day is about, and we'll be back in just a moment.
3,000. people die every day through armed conflict. There has never been a day of global ceasefire in the recorded history of humankind. Peace. In September 1999, with nothing but my experience as a filmmaker, I embarked on a journey to try and establish a starting point for peace. A global ceasefire day. A day to be created by the member states of the United Nations and implemented by the United Nations system, governments, non-governmental organizations, religious communities, and ordinary people throughout the world. With the support of a group of committed individuals and organizations, I launched Peace One Day. Over the next 2 years, we traveled the world to build and document the case for the day's existence. We also contacted every head of government and other key individuals to generate the necessary political will to turn this vision into a reality.
We can build a whole 21st century peace brick by brick, and we need to start with a day.
To have a day of cessation of violence, of ceasefire, of rejection of deadly conflict, that to me is an idea whose time has come.
We just want to get on with our lives and live.
Peace is actually, if you want, the art of the continuation of our existence. If you want 365, let's start with the first day.
I think it's a great idea. Any moment, whether it's a day or a week, that we can give the combatants to pause, to think, and reflect on what they are doing to their own people and to the environment will be a great achievement, and I will support it 100%.
The feeling was unanimous. In September 2001, Peace One Day achieved its objective. A resolution put forward by the UK and Costa Rican governments was adopted by all UN member states, establishing the first ever day of global ceasefire on the 21st of September annually.
The United Kingdom and Costa Rican governments have now joined together to strengthen and reinvigorate what we believe is a unique and still largely unfulfilled opportunity for the practical furtherance of peace. The need for such an enhanced approach was originally brought to our attention by a UK-based non-governmental organisation, Peace One Day, who have over the past 2 years gained far-reaching support for its campaign from senior political leaders in every continent. This draft resolution recommends that henceforth the UN International Day of Peace be observed as a global ceasefire day.
May I take it that the Assembly decides to adopt draft resolution? It is so decided.
So the resolution is in place. Parties in conflict are being asked at the highest level to observe a cessation of hostilities for the duration of this day.
Peace One Day, with help from the United Nations, is going to be visiting during the next 6 months select areas of conflict where we are going to assist them in getting to these areas and meeting, if possible, parties to conflict.
African countries who have been in the forefront in trying to promote peace in our continent would also be prepared to work in tandem with the rest of the international community to have that achieved.
We can call for a meeting of the representatives of all member states to observe this day and to prepare for a wide campaign throughout the Arab world. You have a deal on this?
I'll shake on it.
Okay, thank you.
Dialogue towards ceasefire on the day is underway, and the practical, life-saving implications are clear, with humanitarian organisations ready to act.
If there is a cessation for a day, then it gives us an opportunity to move supplies safely through places that are otherwise.
In various parts of the world, from
El Salvador to Sri Lanka to the Congo, ceasefires have allowed UNICEF in particular to reach children with interventions, for example, an immunization campaign, a polio immunization campaign, or a measles immunization campaign, or perhaps vitamin A.
CARE will raise awareness of the global ceasefire day in the countries that it works. We will try to go further by identifying a concrete action that we can take with our partners on the ground that actually supports and promotes the ceasefire message.
But the resolution, adopted by all UN member states, not only calls for ceasefire and non-violence, it also invites you, as an individual, to commemorate the day in an appropriate manner. Commitments for the day are already significant and varied. Walks, picnics, festivals, plays, and the creation of the first ever World Peace Prayer. These and other examples can be found on our website. Please make your own commitment, no matter how big or small, and let us know. We will use it to inspire others by adding it to our website, where you can also support the campaign by making a donation.
It is our moral responsibility. We are human beings. We have the responsibility to show right path. So I fully support.
We now have an unprecedented opportunity for a moment of global unity. It is vital that we, as global citizens, respond to this call to action and demonstrate that this starting point for peace, established by the peoples, has the active support of the peoples. For one day, every single year, guns will be silenced. Innocent victims will receive assistance. Lives will be saved. And ordinary people throughout the world will have the chance to make their voices heard in a shared declaration of peace.
Individuals can make a difference, and if each of us did our bit, collectively we will make a major contribution.
If you build a house, you start with one brick. If we want to build peace, we must start with one day. And that day has arrived.
Okay, welcome back. If you just tuned in, I'm Ted Owens, sitting in for Maya Schneider, and my guest this evening is Erica Priman, and we just finished watching a video on Peace One Day, which is an organization that we've been talking about prior to just watching that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great video.
It's a very, very good video.
Yeah.
How many members are there in this organization? How many members
here?
Locally? I know you have some support here.
Yeah, we are probably, there's many supporters in the community, but that we've been meeting on Tuesdays, and the people that come on regular basis, we probably about between 8 and 10.
Okay.
Yeah, and we meet every Tuesday.
So we need to grow that. Now, I'm kind of curious, has this organization been involved with service groups, like say Rotary or Lions or any of those service groups that are all around the world, and try to seek their involvement?
Yeah, we have. When this came upon us, or when we started this, it was only probably a month and a half, or maybe close to 2 months before the event. So we had very little time. So this whole day has taken many shapes and forms, and now it's finally a concert, and the community picnic, and the
Well, this is a good start. Maybe we can really beef it up for next year.
Yeah, so basically we haven't really had time to go everywhere. We have, I think, been contacting the Rotary, and I think for next year we're going to have much more time to get everybody involved. And yeah,
that's great. Well, it's difficult the first time.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. Now, you had mentioned when we were off the air that you hope to work with the schools.
Yes.
In the areas.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me about that?
The school district have shown lots of interest, and actually today we got distribute to the whole school district 5,000 flyers of our event, and they approved all that. And I think actually our wish is for next year that it will be in the curriculum of the schools, that the day will be observed as the Global Ceasefire Day, and that every school would do something for that day.
Okay, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've got a real quick question having to do with the global aspect of this. It was affirmation was successful by the United Nations 4 days before the September 11th event last year. Has there been any talk, because you were telling me that it's been kind of quiet, it kind of lost a little bit of its momentum, overshadowed perhaps by the 9/11 event. Has there been some talk about greater national coverage or UN reaffirmation, something to get it back out into the limelight?
Actually, I think it is in the limelight. Back in Europe, it's really big. It's been, the information seems to not have come out as so that's why we're starting here, and we are in the process to call up like radio stations, TV stations, and we started here.
Now you're asking for them on the radio stations, forgive me for interrupting, but you would be asking for them to maybe donate some airtime as a public service announcement type of thing?
Yeah.
So it's not, everything's volunteer?
Yeah, exactly. And then also Jeremy Gilley, the founder, he would do, be willing to do a phone interview, and really just...
Well, he's going to be here, right? Isn't
he? Not he. We're actually hoping the International Film Festival, which happens a week after the 21st, on the 26th. Elizabeth Rogers, that put it all together, she is devoting the whole International Film Festival for peace.
Okay.
So all the films that are in the film festival this year are something with peace.
Something to do with peace.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, tell me, this is a question we didn't discuss prior, but if there was one thing that you could have here locally, people, help, assistance, whatever it might be, what would it be?
Probably more people join our group on Tuesdays, and also volunteers for the day.
And that's Tuesday evenings, and you meet in Squaw Valley?
Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock at the Squaw Valley Chapel, yes.
Okay, and I'm sure Fletch will put your phone number up again so that people can, if that doesn't work out to be a difficult thing. There it is, he's got it up there. And then people at home can get more information on Peace One Day at the number there. And that's your number? You would answer that? Okay, great.
Yes.
I also noticed that there's a website for Peace One, and I don't think we can show it again. It's on the video, but do you know that? Can we?
Yeah. Do you want me to let you know what it is?
Let me know
www.peaceoneday.org.
Okay, so people at home, you can check that out.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I have to do just to deviate a little bit from our line of questioning here, I have to apologize for the crooked pictures here, but Jack Davis and I did that on purpose because we knew it would bother Maya tremendously. So I just thought I would let you know that we're not a sloppy program. That's Jack and my little joke there. Tell me, the event at the regional park.
Yes.
Okay, you're going to be there. Are you going to have signs up or something so that you can draw people off the highway and so that they'll be able to see? Or do you need some help in that area?
Yeah. Any sign. We have one big banner, and that's all we could get so far, and because we had so much to organize. And so that banner is going to probably be up at the park. And then definitely signs, and just put the word out there that it's a free concert and family picnic that day from 1 to 6, and we have the band Montañas playing from 4 to 6, and they were actually probably one of the favorite bands of the summer. They were here earlier this summer.
Did they play their own concert, or were they concert in the park?
Yeah.
Or anything?
Yes, and they were great. So we're excited that they're back. And we're going to have some wonderful peace singers. We're going to read a peace prayer that was written in London for the whole world to read on the same day.
Well, I'm sure that with a little prodding around here, maybe we can get some field coverage for you for use next year.
Yeah.
We only have a couple of seconds left. Erica, I'd like to say that I'm most impressed that you have gotten involved in Peace One Day, and I'm sure you have a job, and it's a very big task to do this on a complete volunteer basis. Highly recommend that everyone get involved. That's Saturday, September 21st at the Regional Park. There'll be a lot of goings on, and just let's hope for a really good turnout.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I'm Ted Owens, and this is Truckee Talks. Thanks for watching.